There was once a hidden valley cradled by mountains that touched the edge of dawn. Mist flowed like silk across the fields, and every morning the sun rose gently, painting each roof golden before waking the hearts beneath. The people called this place Elaris, though even the oldest elders couldn't recall who gave it that name. Some said it meant, where the light begins. In Elaris there lived 9 souls and 3 radiant teachers. Ordinary, it seemed, farmers, dreamers, wanderers, yet each carried within them a quiet flame, a purpose older than the stars. None of them knew it fully, but their meeting here was no accident. Though their paths were different, all 12 belonged to one great design, the song of human spirit unfolding. Aiden was the first light to awaken. A restless boy with eyes of fire, he never waited for permission to dream. He built carts that flew down hills, carved toys that made other children smile, and once tried to build a windmill from scrap wood and hope. When others hesitated, Aiden acted. When they doubted, he dared. He broke, rebuilt, and burned again, not from anger, but from that endless fire to begin. And though his impatience caused many mistakes, he carried the eternal truth that courage is creation's first breath. Mira was the heartbeat of the village, gentle and steady. She planted flowers by every door and taught the younger ones how to listen to silence. Where anger rose, she entered softly and quieted storms without a word. She believed truth was like a seed, tender, needing warmth, not force. The people of Elaris didn't always notice her, but when she was gone, they felt the air grow colder. Mira's grace reminded them that peace is not the lack of conflict, it is the music of understanding. Then there was Leo, the artist whose hands were always stained with color. He painted with sunlight itself, capturing the sacred in the simplest things, chipped bowls, fading temples, a child's tear. His art awakened what people had forgotten how to feel. Yet, deep inside, Leo battled shadows, the questioning voice that whispered he wasn't enough. It was only when he realized his art was not for applause but for connection that he found freedom. Through creation, Leo learned that expression is the soul's most honest prayer. Cora was a bridge builder, both in spirit and in stone. Her strength was enduring, her eyes calm as river rock. She believed that stability was love as silent form, that to give others ground to stand on was to serve the divine. And yet she learned her greatest lesson when one of her bridges collapsed during a storm, and she saw the humility of letting go. Even the strongest foundation must bend to the river's will. Cora's gift was structure, her wisdom, surrender. Orin, the traveler, belonged to no single place. He followed the wind like a loyal friend. The villagers envied and pitied him, a man unable to stay. But Orin's heart was bound to freedom itself. Each road taught him something new. The patience of mountains, the laughter of strangers, the ache of leaving. He came and went, but wherever he trod, he left behind courage in the hearts of those afraid to change. The lesson of Orin's life was not in movement but in trust, the faith that the journey is always wise. Lyra was the healer, the listener of pain. She moved like light through twilight, soft, quiet, unnoticed until needed. People came to her not because she fixed them, but because in her presence, they remembered themselves. No medicine could equal the compassion in her eyes. Beneath that tenderness, though, lay wounds of her own, losses she never spoke of. It was her suffering that made her medicine pure. For Lyra carried the divine truth that love heals not by erasing pain, but by shining through it. Elias, the scholar, spent his days watching the stars and nights recording their silent stories. His scrolls overflowed with theories and patterns, the secrets of seasons, the shapes of clouds, the cycles that bound all life together. Knowledge was his temple, but wisdom came late, when he realized something no book could teach. The heart, not the mind, writes the universe's most eloquent language. In his old age, Elias began to laugh more and read less. He learned that truth without love is light without warmth. Seren, though younger than most, carried the flame of leadership. She did not seek followers, yet they came drawn by the fire of her courage. When crops failed, Seren mobilized hope. When rains didn't come, she taught the people how to sing to the clouds, believing that faith could move what fear could not. Her struggle was control, the weight of others' dreams upon her shoulders. But when she learned to guide instead of govern, her strength became grace. Seren embodied the power that empowers others. Niko had the widest smile and the warmest hands. No task was too small, no stranger too distant. He gathered the children to plant trees, the travelers to share food, the elders to tell their stories. He dreamed of a world where everyone belonged. Sometimes his compassion left him exhausted, giving until nothing remained, yet he could not stop. His heart simply overflowed. Niko's greatest lesson lay in balance, for to love deeply, one must also rest deeply. Through him, the villagers learned that humanity's truest calling is service born from joy. Then came the three radiant ones, the awakened lights whose presence felt like sunrise after endless night. They did not arrive with crowns or thunder. They walked among the villagers as equals, each carrying a gift that would illuminate all lives. Elara was the first, a teacher whose words carried the weight of truth and the gentleness of rain. She saw into people's hidden gold, the unspoken dreams buried under fear. Her very presence turned confusion into clarity. To her, the mind and the spirit were one river. To separate them was to damn life itself. Elara as light was the light of revelation. To awaken within others what she already saw in them. Thalen followed, tall and serene, hands strong enough to build cities and delicate enough to cradle a newborn bird. He looked at a crumbling wall and saw a temple yet to rise. He listened to laughter and foresaw futures where joy would heal what swords could not. Thalen taught that creation and faith were siblings, one imagined, the other made real. His life proved that vision, when anchored in love, becomes legacy. And lastly came Celest, whose compassion could melt grief itself. She saw all beings as reflections of one another, the beggar and the king, the sinner and the saint. Her love was action, her joy, service. Through her healing, the village learned not to help others from pity, but from recognition, the knowing that there is no other at all. Celest embodied the mothering heart of creation, where every wound becomes light when held with forgiveness. When the 12th dawn arrived, all 12 lights gathered at the mountain's highest point. The sky blazed with color, and silence became holy. They looked toward the horizon, not outside them, but within, and the truth finally revealed itself. Their numbers were not chance or destiny, but sacred mirrors of what they had come to teach. Aiden was one, the pioneer, the flame of creation born from courage. Mira was two, the peacemaker harmony made human. Leo was three, the artist, the voice of divine expression. Cora was four, the builder, foundation, order, and faith made form. Orin was five, the adventurer, freedom as evolution. Lyra was six, the healer, love and responsibility woven into grace. Elias was seven, the seeker, contemplation turned into wisdom. Seren was eight, the leader power balanced by purpose. Niko was nine, the humanitarian, love given back to the world. Elara was 11, the visionary, the bridge between mind and spirit. Thalen was 22, the master architect, dreams manifesting into reality. Celest was 33, the master teacher, unconditional love in service to all. And when the sun rose completely, they understood. They were not separate paths, but one united circle. The numbers were the rhythm of existence, the heartbeat of the infinite echoing through human form. Together, they built a new world, not of stone or rule, but of understanding. Aiden's boldness sparked beginnings. Mira's peace kept them steady. Leo's colors gave them hope. Cora's bridges held them strong. Orin reminded them to explore, Lyra to care, Elias to reflect, Seren to rise, Niko to love. Elara taught them to see, Thalen to believe, and Celest to bless. From that day forward, the village of 9 lights stood not as a place on earth, but as a story in the soul, a reminder that every human being carries one of these lights, waiting to be remembered. And if ever you feel lost in your path, look to the dawn, where light meets the stillness of air. Somewhere within that golden breath, 12 souls still whisper, "Be your number, be your light, and let the world see you shine."